All right, let's dive into something really fascinating today. We're going to crack open a 700-year-old moral puzzle that comes from a masterpiece of literature, Boccaccio's Decameron. It's this incredible story that makes us ask a really, really tricky question about what it means to be a good person.
But before we even get into the story, let's just start with a question for you. What do you think the true meaning of generosity is? Is it about giving money? Is it about sacrifice? Or maybe forgiveness? Just kind of keep that idea simmering in the back of your mind as we go through this.
So this whole story kicks off with a classic setup. You've seen it a million times in fairy tales and legends, right? The impossible task. But what's so cool about this version is what happens when the impossible suddenly isn't so impossible anymore. Okay, so let's get into it. Our story starts with what seems like a completely impossible demand. So let's set the scene. We're in 14th century Italy, and we've got three main characters you need to know about. First, there's Madonna Dianora, a respected, noble married lady. Then there's Messer Ansaldo, a super powerful baron who just will not stop pursuing her. And finally, you have Giliberto, who is Dianora's rich and very charming husband. So Dianora, she has had it up to here with Ansaldo's constant advances. She decides to give him a task that she thinks is absolutely 100% impossible, just to get rid of him for good. She tells him, okay, you want me? Then this coming January, I want you to make me a garden full of green grass, flowers, blooming trees. Basically, make it look like May. I mean, a perfect May garden in the dead of winter? Yeah, that ought to shut him down for good, right? Well, you'd think so, but not quite. Because what Dianora thought was a foolproof plan is about to become very, very real, thanks to a little bit of magic. You see, Ansaldo, he's not the kind of guy who gives up easily. He knows she's trying to get rid of him, but he goes looking for a solution anyway. And he finds one, a necromancer, a magician basically, who says he can do it for what the story calls an exceeding great sum of money. And then, boom, it happens. On a freezing cold day with snow and ice everywhere, this absolutely stunning garden just appears outside the city. It's bursting with flowers, it's got green grass, ripe fruit, the whole shebang. Dianora's clever little plan has just backfired in the most spectacular way. It's become a trap. So now, Dianora is facing this huge moral crisis. I mean, what does she do? She has two awful options. She can break her promise, which would bring shame and dishonor on her family, and who knows what this powerful baron and his magician might do, or she keeps her promise, which means cheating on her husband and breaking her marriage vows. There's just no easy answer here. And what she decides to do next, well, that leads us to our first truly incredible act of generosity. And trust me, it comes from the last person you'd expect. This is where things get really interesting. A husband's sacrifice. She's absolutely terrified, completely miserable, and she doesn't know what else to do. So she goes to her husband, Giliberto, and just confesses everything, probably expecting the worst. And Giliberto's reaction is, it is just mind-blowing. At first, yeah, he's angry, but then he thinks about it. He knows his wife's heart, and he knows she made this deal with pure intentions just to get this guy off her back. So he tells her, I know the purity of thy soul. I am minded then that thou go to him, for the nonce thou mayest yield him thy body, but not thy soul. He's basically saying that her promise, her honor, is more important than his own honor as a husband. It's wow. And that one act, that incredible sacrifice from the husband, it kicks off a chain reaction of virtue. Which brings us to our next surprise, the suitor's mercy. So you can imagine a completely heartbroken Dianora shows up at Ansaldo's house. She's just following her husband's orders. And she makes it crystal clear. She's not there because she wants to be, but because her husband commanded her to keep her word. And here we go, the next massive twist. Ansaldo hears this, and he is so moved, so blown away by the husband's nobility, that all his passion just melts away and turns into compassion. He says, God forbid that I should wound the honor of him that has compassion on my love. And he sends her home. He completely releases her from the promise, telling her from now on he'll think of her only as a sister. And the outcome of all this? Giliberto and Ansaldo, the husband and the suitor who were rivals, they become the best of friends, totally loyal to one another. It's an amazing turnaround, all because of this chain of kindness. But hold on, we're not quite done yet. There's one more act of generosity we have to look at before we can even begin to think about the final verdict. So let's just recap this amazing domino effect of virtue. First, the husband sacrifices his own honor to protect his wife. That act inspires the suitor to sacrifice his deepest desire. And then, when Ansaldo goes to pay the magician that huge sum of money, the magician, who's heard the whole story, is so inspired that he refuses to take any payment at all.
So if you lay it all out, it's like a contest of virtue, isn't it? You have the husband who gave up his honor and pride. You have the suitor who gave up the prize he wanted so badly. And then you have the magician who gave up a massive payday. And look what they gained in return: a stronger marriage, a new friendship, and a clear conscience.
And this right here is what makes the story so brilliant. Boccaccio doesn't give us an answer. He doesn't tell us who was right. He leaves the story with a big, open question, and he just hands it over to his audience. And for the last 700 years, he's handed it over to us. So it all comes back to that first question I asked you. Who really was the most generous? Was it the husband who sacrificed his honor? The suitor who gave up his desire? Or the magician who gave up a fortune? It's a puzzle that has stood the test of time for a reason. So what do you think?